RBT, what is the deal? It's your dog, Willie Jack, and we are back. Back, baby. Back with more NFL action. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? I hope for your sake that it is a Victory Wednesday for you like it is for me. Like it is for me. Because it's Victory Wednesday for your dog. Yeah, I got mine in on Sunday. You feel me? So, yeah, it's a good Wednesday for me. And so, hopefully, your team did well as well, unless your team played my team. Other than that, fair game. I hope your team won as well, big dog. And if your team did win, and it is also a Victory Wednesday for you, then you know what you should do? In celebration, you should tap in with them three amigos. Like, share, subscribe. Don't forget. Don't stop that. Don't forget now. Don't forget to holler at Big Cousin. Tell him, like, share, subscribe. Big Cousin. Tell a friend. Bring one more. We got space in the back. Bring more with you because we got space in the back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, and as y'all should be aware, if you didn't peep the cover art for today's episode, we got a lot to talk about. We got fireworks on and off the field. Or you know what? That's not fair. All the fireworks were on the field. We've got fireworks pre, during, and post game. We've got fireworks in all three phases. Pre, during, and post. So definitely got some stuff we want to talk about today. Now, also as well for, I don't know if it was just me or just me in my area. If y'all don't know, I'm down here in Dallas. But man, my YouTube's been acting up all day, man. I'm trying to work hard. I like to have like a little background noise in the background. You know what I mean? Like a little background noise going, man. I'm trying to listen to just random video or YouTube stuff playing. And man, my YouTube was, I don't know, man. I don't know what was going on. My YouTube wasn't playing videos or wouldn't open up videos. I mean, it was crazy. So hopefully this goes out. Matter of fact, I don't know what the deal is. Hopefully. Hold on here. I think I do see a couple of y'all in the building. What's going on? Hold on 1 second. Let me get us together. Let me get us together. All right. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Hey, what's going on, man? Shout out to my dog, man. Day one gang is real. Day one gang is real in the building, man. First one in the chat today, man. He said, we in this thing. What's going on? He said, what's the deal? And then, of course, shout out to my dog, man. Don't forget now. Don't get lazy. Don't forget. Tap in with them three amigos now. Let's go. Let's get that straight. Let's get that right out the door. I love it. I love it. You know what, man? Day one gang real, man. Did you have any issues pulling up the video today's show? Cause man, I can't lie to you, bro. My YouTube been on strike like all day. It's crazy. So I don't know what's going on. But we gonna do what we came to do. You feel me? Give me 1 second here. Make sure everything is syncing together. Okay. There we go. Man, Day One Gang real, man. Talk to me about your Eagles, dog. Go ahead and talk to me about your Eagles, man. I don't know what's going on. When there's enough smoke, man, there's got to be some fire. I mean, you know what? I don't know how true it is, but or maybe just in Steelers news, dog, they keep all I'm seeing on Steelers posts and blog sites and conversation posts is for some reason people think my Steelers are going to try to go make a move to get A.J. Brown at this trade deadline. No, I love me some A.J. Brown, but ain't no way. Nah, man. Ain't no way. Because honestly, like the issue that he's having in Philadelphia, we can't fix it in Pittsburgh. You see what I'm saying? Like, A.J. Brown is a tier one, true number one X receiver, and he wants, volume and catches and to be used in a passing game offense, that accentuates that and plays and caters to that, much like we see with other guys of his ilk. right? That's not an unreasonable ask, right? It's not unreasonable for Justin Jefferson to want to be treated like Justin Jefferson when he's on the field. It's not unreasonable for Jamar Chase to be treated like Jamar Chase when he's on the field. In that same lane, it's not unreasonable for AJ Brown to be treated like bro, I'm AJ Brown. I'm one of them ones. You know what I mean? Like Antonio Brown treatment, Julio Jones treatment, DeAndre Hopkins in his prime treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like Devontae Adams. This is the type of guy we're talking about. So yeah, he wants his usage and production to reflect that. I'm not mad at that. I keep saying it. I'm not gonna stop saying it. That's not a problem. Anybody saying that's not a problem. There's things we can complain about. That's not one of them. I don't complain about a guy who's more than capable not being given an opportunity. You know what I mean? For a problem that we can fix. That's what I'm saying. Like his usage in that offense is a problem we can fix. But I'll digress. Long story short, but man, it's a lot to talk about us making a move, but I don't think it's realistic. Because like I said, we can't solve that problem that he's having in Philly. Because for one, we already have a guy, DK Metcalf, his former college teammate, of course, anyway. We've already got DK Metcalf like solidified as our number one receiver. And then also the way our offense is constructed, there's not room. Like DK is getting off. Now him and Rodgers are really heating up and that's going really well. But this is not like a volume heavy offense, like passing game offense. So DK's touches that he's been playing well or having better statistical performances these last few weeks. But let's say like this past game against Cleveland, he had a big game, but a big game was 4 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's still there's not a lot of room in our offense to satisfy what it is that AJ Brown's looking for. So I don't think it's realistic. As much as I would love it, I don't see that being a realistic option. And then also, like we kind of talked about before, I'm still not convinced your Eagles are going to trade him. And then even still, like the offer would have to be something that you can't say no to. And then even further than that, who or what team like would be able to offer like a blow you away, can't refuse deal. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I don't realistically see it happening. Now, barring some type of like unforeseen, crazy, wild Charles Haley-esque type of scenario behind the scenes to kind of force ownership's hand. If y'all don't know the story about Charles Haley kind of forcing his way out of San Francisco and then signing with the Cowboys and then going on and winning championships. Yeah, no, I think he won. Charles Haley had 5 championships. I want to say he got, was it 3 with the Niners and 2 with the 3 with the Niners and 2 with the Cowboys? Or was it 2 with the Niners and then 3? Was he there for all 3 with the Cowboys? Be that as it may, man's got 5 rings. And the stories behind how he wanted to be traded from San Francisco for a while and they were refusing to honor his request. And then my dog went to another level, man. I've heard stories, everything from he went to the GM's office, GM or coach, and literally climbed on top of the desk and took a dump right there on the desk of either the coach or GM. One of them, something crazy. And then I saw a clip of Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin been on fire too late. We should talk about that. But I saw another clip as well where Michael Irvin was telling the story about how he got released from the Niners and then the Cowboys got him. And Michael Irvin said that he either came upon either the GM or the coach in the parking lot and then climbed on top of either the coach or GM's car and pulled that thing out and urinated right there on the car of the GM or coach, possibly with them inside the car. So there's a whole bunch of stuff was going on with Charles Haley, man, when he was getting himself out of San Francisco. And like I said, I don't know enough. Yeah. The fact that it got that bad, man, I can't imagine the things that he was doing that didn't rise to that level before he got to that level. Because you don't just come in like that's nuclear. He dropped 2 nukes on San Francisco to get out that building, man. The first, because if both of those stories happen, because until Michael Irvin recently, I had never even heard the story about him climbing on top of the hood of somebody important's car and pissing. I never even heard that version. The version I'd always heard was he went to said head honcho's office, stood on top of the desk, and literally took a dump. That's the story that I had heard. I mean, since I've heard the story. So one or both of those may be true. I'm not going to put either or both past Charles Haley. So that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know how I got there, but that's crazy. Oh, circling back around, tying it all up. So yeah, I don't know how bad AJ Brown really wants to get out of Philadelphia, man. I say all that to say I don't know just how bad he really wants to get out of Philadelphia. I don't think anybody's ever wanted to leave a place as bad as Charles Haley wanted to leave San Francisco, apparently, because I can't imagine anybody else doing that. But yeah, now that's crazy, man. That's y'all history lesson for today. Okay, good. Man, dog, maybe it's just me. I don't know if it's my area, my spectrum's tripping. I don't know if it was the Dallas. I don't know, bro. But man, my YouTube been on one all day. All day. So I'm glad it's working out then, or at least I'm glad it's working out for you. Oh yeah, hey, already, yeah, man, yeah, y'all gotta scrap that, bro. Y'all gotta real life scrap that offense, bro. It's time, or I mean, I ain't gonna say scrap. There's still, it works when it works, but y'all gotta do a serious revamp, man. Rewrite something, because it was one thing when Saquon is still having success, and then just AJ Brown is just kind of left out the party. But Saquon ain't getting off no more. The only consistent, successful expenditure from that offense is tush push. That's the most consistent offensive output we've seen from the Eagles all this year is the tush push. Because Saquon's been in the box, man, for the bulk of this year. AJ Brown, we already know what's going on with him, right? We've been talking about it for 6 weeks now. And so, man, yeah, there's a lot of work needs to be done, man, on that offense for sure. And you might be on to something now. The coaching carousel has started. All right, Tennessee fired their coach. He's 5-6 weeks into his second year with a rookie quarterback, mind you, as well, right? A roster that the previous GM already ruined with getting rid of AJ Brown being one of those major fiascos. Firing Mike Vrabel, who's an awesome head coach. I've been saying that. And then look what he's doing right now with a young Drake May in New England, but we'll get to that. But no, man, so Tennessee goes ahead and pulls the plug, fires, what's his name? It's Bill Callahan's son. Titans head coach Callahan was relieved of duties following this Week 6 loss against the Raiders. And so it's already started. I don't know how much more time or wiggle that your boy Mike, that our boy Mike McDonald got in. No, not Mike McDonald. Mike McDaniels got down there in Miami. Now, I know you had mentioned Mike McDaniels. If he becomes available, man, he might be the style of hire or of hire that y'all would lock in on, man, bring him in as an OC. And, man, I'm telling you, when you said it, that sounds super dangerous. And that sounds like it makes a lot of sense. Because if Mike McDaniels gets fired, and I don't doubt that at all, it feels like Miami, that team has already quit on McDaniels, and that team is in the process of pulling a mutiny on Tua Tagovailoa as well, man. And so both those guys may or may not be, they may not have a long time left in Miami. But yeah, no, if Mike McDaniels does get let go, then man, I can't think of too many better opportunities than maybe getting on with the Philadelphia Eagles and becoming an offensive coordinator there with all those weapons, with all that infrastructure around you. You don't have to worry about discipline. You don't have to worry overly about like authority being respected as the team's authority as the head coach, because he couldn't handle that, and it's no secret, right? You know what I'm saying? That's just not, that wasn't in his wheelhouse, at least not right now. And so now going back to the OC, you know what I mean, where you can kind of, Sirianni can handle all that on that grown man BI. You know what I mean? We could just leave you in the lab drawing up plays, big dog. And I think in that scenario, then yeah, nah, man, Philly's gonna be a monster. I mean, that would be scary to see. And then also, if you're McDaniels, if you are eager or wanting to get back to that head coaching seat, then man, what better place to go redeem yourself than with Philly? So we've seen Brian Flores, right? He lost his, man, was that also Miami? Man, look at Miami. Brian Flores let go from Miami, sat down for a little bit, went to Pittsburgh, got himself back together, and then now he's in Minnesota with the Vikings, and he's probably been the most impressive defensive coordinator for these last 2 years, right? Or 2 years and change or whatever it's been, right? And so Artie Smith right now let go in Atlanta. Now he's back with my Steelers, back in the OC role, and he's in the process of maybe, rebuilding his name back up to eventually maybe take another swing at a head coach job. So we've seen that cycle before. Josh McDaniels went through that cycle 3 or 4 times. You know what I mean? He may be back in it now, OC for the Patriots, and he's cooking. Drake May looks like the real deal, man. So there's going to be a lot of good options, man, for Mike McDaniels, but I don't think there's going to be anything that can offer him what the Eagles do should he become available. So now that might be something to keep a lookout on, man. That might be something to keep an eye out for. And you know what? Day one game's real. Now, this won't happen. And even when it happened back then, I don't think it was like mid-season. But we have seen coaches traded before now. John Gruden got traded from the Raiders to the Bucs. So we have seen trades for coaches. So I mean, this could be interesting now, man. There's just a lot of things. I don't know, man. There's a lot of interesting scenarios, man, that to entertain with Mike McDaniel's likely departure or anticipated departure from Miami. I don't know when, but if he makes it to the end of the year, Miami must have found a way to go on a hell of a run. And I don't know if I see that happening. And so, yeah, I definitely got to stay tuned in, peeping that out, see what's going on. Day one game, Jarrell said this week is going to be make or break for y'all for real. Man, who y'all got Sunday? Now that you say that, actually, I can check. But yeah, who do y'all got? Minnesota. Yeah, man. Yeah, that Minnesota. Sunday's game against Minnesota. Yeah, I think that one is a little weighty. I think that is a little weighty. They still playing with a backup. And then even if it's not a backup, it's a rookie or a super rookie, right? Because he missed his official rookie season. So, I mean, it's still a game that we would expect y'all to win on paper. But, man, we don't play this game on paper. We play this game on grass. And unfortunately, sometimes still turf. But, yeah, man. But, I think you're right, man. I think that one it doesn't end y'all season at all. But just for, like, team morale, like that locker room feels like a powder keg, man. Like it's not necessarily to the level of Miami, probably because y'all winning. But I mean, it's on the same, it's trending the same way, man. It feels like that thing it's very precarious. That's what I'll say. It's a very precarious position, that Eagles offense. Now that Eagles team, man, y'all defense is struggling as well. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I got to pay attention to see what's going on in Philly. Because Philly, another thing too, man, last thing, I know we've been talking about your Eagles for 20 minutes, but last thing I say, the Eagles aren't scared to burn it down and start over. The Eagles were 2 years, and day one game, Jarrell will tell y'all, his Eagles were 2 years, was it 2 years or 3 years off of a Super Bowl, and they burned it down. They said, yeah, you know what? Nah, let's just start fresh. It's too much drama. Right? Carson Wentz was the number 2 pick in the draft. He was an MVP candidate he was the front runner for that season's MVP award as the number 2 overall pick. I think still on his rookie contract, due to get paid. They let him go. They got rid of him. They got rid of his coach, Doug Peterson, who at the time was a Super Bowl winning coach, right? With the backup, he took a backup, Nick Foles, on a historical run. You know what I'm saying? They got rid of both of them. They was like, all right, you know what? Y'all can't play nice. Y'all can't get along. I tell you what we'll do. No, don't worry about it. We ain't gonna pick sides. Both of your services are no longer needed. You know what I'm saying? They both got out of there. And then, you know, and then some other moving pieces as well, man. So I ain't gonna put nothing past, man, Howie in that front office, man. If it gets too volatile, they might turn that thing on down, man. We've seen them do it. We've seen them do it. Keep in mind, Jalen Hurts came in at the end of that. And that also, he might have had something to do with it. Jalen Hurts comes in. He's the backup, 1 year as the backup before Howie and the big wigs decide, yep, let's go ahead and strip this thing down. And so we've seen it done, man. I'm not going to put it past them. Got a couple more members of the building. Mom Deuce in the building. Said good evening to the Big Nation family. Rennie in the building said, what's going on? Appreciate y'all. Yeah, I was telling Day One Gang Jarrell, I said, I hope y'all, my YouTube has been like acting up all day. Like I haven't been able to get videos to play, so I wasn't even sure if this was going to. Day One Gang Jarrell said it opened up fine for him. And then y'all got in, so I'm glad. I appreciate it. I'm glad to know it's at least getting out. Folks, for some folks. But we are gonna go ahead, get into what we came to do. It's time to get to business. We had a lot of good games. And a lot of interesting storylines for sure that happened this past week. And so definitely a lot of stuff to talk about. I'd say, and you know what? Let's start with a recap of Monday night. So Monday night, we had another of those Monday Night Football doubleheaders that nobody asked for. NFL, Goodell, assorted owners. Nobody asked for Monday night doubleheaders. But here we are. So, Buffalo goes on the road to Atlanta, and they get upset. And it's one thing to get upset on the road, right? Because Atlanta is a pretty, they've got a decent little advantage there. That indoor stadium gets loud. You know what I mean? Those Falcons fans get fiery, right? Especially when they rolling. And so you're on the road Monday night. So it's one thing to lose. But man, they got dominated. Oh, hold on. And I just, what I just seen as well? That title's messed up. Hold on. There we go. That was going to bother me. I don't know if y'all, I assume somebody had to catch it, but it was bothering me. Yeah, there we go. Falcons dominate the Bills in that upset. And this was right-sided out the gate. And honestly, this was damn near, this was on the verge of a blowout heading into the halftime. I think Atlanta was about to go up, 3 scores at halftime? Drake London with a long catch right sideline, and he's 2 yards shy of a touchdown, right? Stride and try to beat an angle, dive in front there for the right end zone. And initially the call on the field was a touchdown. Now, obviously when they went back and reviewed it, it was pretty, clear that he stepped out, I want to say like the 2 or so. During the process of his long catch and run, the remaining time in the half expired. So they end up not getting burned as far as any points on the board, just additional blow to your morale because you already been getting dominated for this first half. But that could have been sticks. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, if y'all don't play Madden, if y'all ever used to play Madden, man, you get 21, man. Past the sticks. All right. That game was almost 28-7 going into halftime, if not for that one getting called back. And so a very dominant performance there. Headline, of course, by none other than Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson was fantastic in that football game. And the thing about it as well, and you know what? Honestly, we haven't talked a lot about Bijan on the show, honestly. We haven't really gave him all his just due, man. Gave him all his flowers. Bijan Robinson's having a fantastic season. And honestly, in a year in which, like last year's, leaders, Saquon and Derrick Henry, King Henry, both those guys are MIA. You know what I mean? So the top is wide open. You know what I mean? And so another young guy that I really enjoyed, Jahmyr Gibbs, you know what I mean? Like he hasn't had a standout season thus far, right? Thus far in the year. And so like I said, the top is there for the taking, man. And Bijan Robinson said, don't mind if I do. Bijan Robinson said, excuse me, y'all boys step aside. Let me get up in the top flow now. You know what I mean? Bijan's having a fantastic year. Let me tell you these numbers. So now here's the thing as well. I think total yardage for this game, I think he almost went for 250 total yards, but he had 170 yards rushing and a long 81-yard touchdown. Of course, we saw the highlight. And then even on that touchdown, he's running up the right sideline. Safety, I believe it was a safety. Was it Tyler Rapp? One of the safeties for the Bills actually catches him on an angle, but can't bring him down on the sideline. And here's the thing as well. I'm not even going to fault him for the tackle. I think it was just a fantastic play by Bijan Robinson. Keep his balance, stay in bound, run through that tackle, because the safety came up. I don't think it was a poor attempt. He attempted to wrap up with both arms. He slid down his legs. He attempted to gator roll him. Like, that's standard DB tackling drills. Like, DBs are always going to be smaller for the most part. There's some outliers, but by and large, DBs, and we're talking corners, right? So let's say corners. There's some hitters at safety now. But outside of those guys, right? Outside of those guys, for the most part, by and large, DBs aren't big time hitters or big time tacklers, right? And these guys, generally speaking, they're not asked to bring down 225-pound running backs 20 or 30 yards upfield with a full head of steam running 20 miles an hour. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit outside of their standard wheelhouse. This was a good tackle attempt. This wasn't a Dory Jackson coming in untouched in the B gap on the goal line and throwing a shoulder at Cam Scatterboo, you know what I mean? And then watching him truck Zach Bonner to the end zone. My bad, day one game, Jarrell. My bad. But I'm saying this wasn't that. It was a legit attempt. He went in with both arms, tried to wrap up, tried to roll him once he got to his legs. And Bijan, it was a fantastic play. Strong runner, kept his balance, and then finishes that play up the sideline for 80 yards. And honestly, that play was a fantastic illustration of like Bijan's abilities. Because the only true drawback, if we're nitpicking, right? If we're nitpicking, the only true drawback of Bijan Robinson's game is that he doesn't necessarily have like true pure breakaway speed. Like, he gets caught on angles. Like, you know what I mean? But he's got plenty of speed. But, he's a guy, like, yeah, he broke that tackle, but he got caught on that angle. You know what I mean? Now, his ability in the missed tackle, but even less so of a missed tackle, because, like I said, I think it was a good tackle attempt. Kudos to him for running through it and keeping his balance and staying in bounds, right? But he can be caught on angle. And so he's a guy that we're, like, he'll hit you for 20 all day. He'll hit you for 30. He'll break one for 40. You know what I mean? But once you get up at 30, 40 yards, you know what I'm saying, with the right angle, you can get them. Some guys, a Jahmyr Gibbs, of course, let's say in recent memory, CJ2K. That's probably the easiest and best example we can make. The angle didn't matter for Chris Johnson. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You got a 60-yard head start to angle yourself 20 yards ahead of me. I'm breaking that anyway. Tyreek Hill in his heyday, right? In his prime. Tyreek still got juice. We just ain't seen it because Tua can't get him the ball upfield. But those guys like that, like I said, Jahmyr Gibbs is one of those guys. Jahmyr Gibbs 80 to the crib at the drop of a hat. The angle don't necessarily matter. He's not necessarily that, like, he doesn't have that part to his game, but he still got plenty of speed. You know what I mean? He still got plenty of speed, plenty of juice. But, like I said, if we was going to nitpick, that'd be one of the only things. But no, he's having a fantastic season. This is a fantastic game. And then also in the passing game, another, 70-ish yards receiving on 6 catches. So 170 on the ground, another 70 in the air. Did all this on less than 30 touches. He only got in the paint once. He only had 1 touchdown on the day. But no, this is a fantastic performance. Tyler Algier also had an impressive touchdown run in this one as well. Man, he's really kind of the thunder to Bijan's lightning. And boy, he ran that. I think it was the first touchdown for Atlanta. Boy, he ran right through somebody on the Bills' chest, boy, at the goal line to let them know about it. He ran right through somebody's face mask, and then he had to let somebody know about it, man. So, oh man, look who it is. Hey, y'all, look who it is, man. Look here. Shout out to my dog, the captain in the building. The captain's in the building, man. Shout out to the captain of the shit, man. My dog Keandre back in the building, man. Hey, reminding me to get them comments up. Hey, I appreciate you, big dog. I appreciate you. Boy, I ain't gonna lie. They been coming for your spot, man. They been coming for your spot. I want to say, who was it? I think 1 week Sis got on the comments. I think another week or another show, Day One Game Jarrell. I was like, oh man, y'all coming for my dog Keandre's spot, man. Hey, there we go, my dog. We in this thing. But nah, man, just finishing off. That was a fantastic performance by Atlanta. Bijan Robinson, spectacular performance. And this is the type of performance that I think really catapults him into the realm of like superstar. Because he's already a star. He's a guy we've known his ability, highly talented, coming out of Texas, got injured at Texas, still was the first back drafted that year. So it's never been a secret, his talent, his ability, like what we wanted to see from him. But, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself. I think I said this going into this year. We can go back, we can pull my receipts. But one of the things I said is that Bijan's got all the talent, but it still feels like there's another level that he can reach. You know what I mean? And I think this type of game is like that moment. You know what I mean? Like, this is a Monday night primetime game and against a very quality opponent. The reigning league MVP was on the other sideline. Big Josh Allen was on the other sideline. And this wasn't the Josh Allen show. This was the Bijan Robinson show. So, like, this is exactly the type of moment that I wanted to see from Bijan, where it truly, like, puts his, like, all eyes on him, and, man, he put on a hell of a show. So, like, this is exactly the style of performance or game that really can catapult you. And I think this is what it does going forward. You know what I mean? I think this is it. Like, and we've talked about it before, especially talking, like, college, where, like, when you talk about, like, that Heisman moment, like, that moment you could point to and be like, yeah, that's where he really announced himself, man. He really arrived. And I think this game was what that was for Bijan. Not to say we knew about the talent, but the right circumstance, the right timing is everything. The right circumstance, the right opponent, the right performance. You know what I mean? Like the 80-yard highlight touchdown. This, like I just said, he's not a guy that's going to get a lot of 80-yard touchdown runs or touchdown plays. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily the level of his speed on its own. So, like I said, all those things combined, man, this is a fantastic day in performance by Bijan Robinson. And if you didn't know, Bijan one of them studs of the week, man. Bijan one of them studs of the week for sure. For sure. Let me see what else. Oh, and you know what? Like I was saying, it was a doubleheader. Not to be remiss, there was more football action on Monday. Chicago on the road at Washington. Bears get their revenge. End up pulling away with this victory, 25-24. Big storyline in this one. If you're a Bears fan or a Commanders fan, I don't know how many other people worried about it. But if y'all remember last year's game, was that one in Chicago or was that one also in Washington? I can't remember now. Let's say in Washington. It's a better story in Washington. So I'm going to say it was in Washington again. They ran it back 2 years in Washington in a row. I don't know. Bears are in control of that game. It looks like they're, in position to win. It's Hail Mary time for the Commanders. And this is rookie Jaden Daniels. This was one of Jaden Daniels' coming out parties, right? This is one of the moments that really like catapulted him up and put a lot more eyes on him in a positive way, right? This game last year. So Tyreek Stevenson, infamous in this game for the wrong reasons. If y'all remember, he's waving to the crowd. He's feeling good. He's talking good. It's Hail Mary time. They need, 50-ish yards to the end zone on one chuck it play. He's talking stuff. They snap the ball. My dog is still just in the stands letting them have it. Like, yeah, man, y'all take y'all ass home, man. Yeah, it had to be in Washington because he was giving it to the fans. Yes, it had to be in Washington. Tyreek Stevenson is giving it to the fans for probably about a second and a half or 2 seconds. That don't sound like a lot, and it's not a lot in standard everyday life. On a football field, that's an eternity. The average play only lasts 4 to 6 seconds. He was turning around talking to the crowd with live action behind him for about 2 seconds. That's outrageous. Not only that, they throw the ball at him in his direction. Now, to his credit, He's like, oh snap, I'm tripping, right? Gets on the horse. He gets over to the jump point or the catch point, and he actually deflects the ball. I believe it was him. He actually deflects the ball. But as fate would have it, as karma would have it, the football gods will not be slighted. His deflection falls into the hands of a Commanders receiver. Commanders win that game. And so that was it was definitely a memorable game from last year. I remember talking about it, you know what I mean? Because I remember tearing him a new one, man, about his actions. And then also on the other side of that, it ended up being, we can look to you now to point to you to blame this game, even though he did get up there and make a deflection, but then it got caught. So anyway, said all that to say, this was the rematch. Y'all seen, this is the rematch, and the Bears get their revenge. They pull this one out, 25-24. Caleb Williams, man, is really coming along under everything's still not perfect and pretty and pristine, but there's a lot more good there than bad in a situation that for the most part it had only been bad, man. And so he goes for 250 yards in this one, passing touchdown, also has a rushing touchdown. DeAndre Swift in this one had a very nice game, 108 yards on 14 carries, also had another 67 yards receiving, a receiving touchdown as well. Up and down game in this one for Jaden Daniels. He did have 3 touchdowns, but threw an interception. He also had 50 yards rushing in this one, but did also lose a fumble. So 2 turnovers in this one as well. But no, this was actually a pretty entertaining game also, man. So I'm not a fan of the Monday night doubleheaders. I'm still not. I want to be able to sit and watch both Monday night games. I want to sit and watch the Monday night game in its entirety. I don't want to have to worry about catching 2/3 of one and then, you know what I'm saying, a third of the other one, or trying to double dip. No, the Monday night's not big enough for that. We ain't got time for that Monday night. I'm already pissed off. I've been at work. The weekend's over. It was a Monday at work, and now I got to come home and decide which football I'm going to watch. What are we doing, NFL? All right, we don't need that Monday doubleheader. But again, I'll digress. Now, let me see. Where we going to go? I'll tell y'all what we're going to do, man. We're going to get right into it, man. Y'all seen, I know y'all seen that cover art, man. I know y'all seen today's cover art. You know why we here. We had to talk about it. The Detroit Lions traveled to the Kingdom of Kansas City to face the Chiefs. And this was my game of the week. Now, the game itself didn't necessarily live up to game of the week hype. Kansas City in this one, I think early, Detroit moves the ball pretty well. They score a touchdown. There was some style of procedural whatever. They end up walking away from that with 3 instead. And then from there, it feels like Kansas City really, especially maybe after that first quarter or so, but Kansas City kind of took the upper hand in this one. And though the game itself never got truly out of hand, I would say, but they were in pretty firm control, I think, throughout. And so it wasn't necessarily the back and forth affair that I had envisioned when I made it the game of the week, but it was exciting nonetheless for a number of reasons. Now, of course, before we get into the fun stuff, I will talk about this game. Patty Case, man, he went for 250, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, another 30 yards rushing, a rushing touchdown. Oh, Pat was in his bag. Yeah, Pat was in his bag. Yeah. So Pat being Pat, man, on Sunday night at home in Kansas City, a quality opponent now against a quality opponent in these Detroit Lions. This, I think, was a big win. And also, I end up picking Detroit to win this game. But one of the things I talked about on Sunday was the fact that KC is coming off of an ugly Jacksonville loss, right? A game in which they completely, without question, feel like they should have won. They felt like the better team. I think most of us feel like a game that they should have won that they lost, and so they're a little pissed off. They're fired up, and now it's it was always going to be tough sledding for whoever came into Kansas City on Sunday night a week after they have a relatively loss, at least how they feel about it. Just the way they may feel like they gave that one away. So I knew it was going to be a tough road for Detroit, but it was more so a credit to Detroit that they're the style of team that we've seen for the last few years now, especially shout out to Dan Campbell, they don't care about none of that. You know what I mean? Like Dan Campbell and that Lions team, they signed up for any and all the smoke, so they weren't going to go there and be intimidated or bullied. But yet and still, man, Kansas City handles business. Kansas City handles business, and they get this victory 30-17. Man, shout out to my dog Miles. I don't know if you're in here, Miles. Me and my dog Miles had a little side bet in this game as well. He bet me that the Chiefs would hold both Gibbs and David Montgomery combined to under 100 yards. I said, nah, man, that's free money. I said, nah, that's free money. Bet it. Bet was good. Matter of fact, we made that bet live on the show on Sunday. Yeah, chat feeling spicy. So we made a little live bet, but he was right. I mean, hey, he was right. He was right. I think Jahmyr Gibbs got held to 65 yards in this one. David Montgomery held to 25 or 24 yards, 24, 25 yards. And so two of them went for what, roughly 80 yards. And so now that Chiefs defense is stout for sure, but I thought between the two of them, they'd be good for 50 yards. You know what I mean? Like I thought surely. But no, he knew something I didn't, man. And the Chiefs defense, that front seven, they definitely held tough all night. Like I said, I already told you what they limited that duo to. Then on the other side, he had two of Patty's 3 touchdown passes went to him in this game. Xavier Worthy had another touchdown in this one as well. Travis Kelce had a pretty decent day as well, 80 yards receiving, roughly thereabouts. All that to say, at the end of this game, after the Chiefs win a pretty well in hand victory over a very reputable and solid opponent in the in the Detroit Lions, some people, namely Brian Branch, talented safety for the Lions, he had something on his chest, man, and he couldn't let it go. Generally speaking, and I can speaking from a guy in my own way, but and a lot of us did, right? If you played in high school or played in college or whatever, you know how competitive and confrontational like it can get in the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like it can really take you there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's moments in the game, man, you may forget where you at. You and somebody might get into it talking crazy. There's nothing like football, man, where you can like being nose to nose with somebody you don't know. And I'm talking about y'all cussing and talking crazy to each other, trying to hurt each other, and like everything, like no matter what you do, then after the play, y'all both go back to your huddle, then y'all come back and fight again. And you do this all like it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing. It's one of the things about football, man. It's hard for people to just kind of understand if you ain't experienced it. And then also, man, it's one of the things where if you've been in that world, man, and you suited for it, man, you love it. You know what I mean? It's a crazy thing. But the thing about it is that after the game, like I can't imagine a time I've ever wanted to fight somebody after a game. Nah, one time against our rival, I got stole. Dude punched me in the eye, like first play of the game. But outside of something like that, there's not too many instances in the game in which I want to have the desire, not only have the desire, but have the energy to start a fresh fight after the game. You know what I mean? Like it just ain't that serious. You know what I mean? And like both sides know, like once the game is over, it's respect after that. Like, hey man, I respect you, bro. We went at it. We battled. We woo. But you chop it up. You dap up. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to bust your ass next time. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, that's normally how it goes. Not for Brian Branch. I don't know what Juju did to this man during the game. I don't know what was said. I don't know if he got blindsided. I don't know what. But he wasn't ready to let it go. And then I believe in the footage I see, I think it feels like I don't think Juju was just the closest guy in range of me to put my hands on. I think he went and got Juju, man, and started a tussle. Juju's helmet ended up getting pulled off. He got stolen. That man was broody and that man was bruised and bloody. That man had blood leaking from his face on national TV. Y'all see the photo we put in the cover art. It's a bad look, Juju. It's a bad look, man. All right. You look stunned, dazed, and confused. And it looked like that was the moment your helmet's off. I believe it may already be blood in your nose. And Brian Branch, he got one of them ones cocked for you, boy. He right back in that shot. And then I don't know if that was Harrison Butker, the kicker, or who that was in the photo that's sitting or that's like look like across from Juju. And it looks like, whoa, wait, no. Like, you know, oh man, it's crazy. It was crazy. So large scuffle, large dust up, if you will, after the game. I do believe that Brian Branch was fined, and I know he was fined. I saw that announced. I believe did he get suspended as well? If you know, if you're aware in the chat, man, let me know. Did he also get suspended? I want to say I know he got fined, but he may have also been suspended. I'm not sure, but that anywho, man, that was a crazy way to end that game. And here's the thing about it, man. Like Juju, of course, started with my Steelers. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is, man. But one thing about Juju, he was known for like all the dances and, his personality. You know what I mean? Like it may not, I don't know, man. He might not be everybody's cup of tea, right? He may not be everybody's cup of tea, but he ain't soft now. You know what I mean? Like don't be confused, man. He might dress and dance like Carlton, but boy, he's not soft. You know what I mean? Like he's one of the ones, man. He'll go get you. He'll go see about you. So I can tell you that firsthand, man. From my Steelers, man. Hey, he went and laid Vontaze Burfict out in a game, man. After he laid out Antonio Brown, and so I mean, look, I say that to say he's not a soft target. Despite what you may think about him, Juju is not no soft target. And as a receiver, he's built, man, like he's about 6'1", 215. Like he's a solid dude, man. Brian Branch ain't the biggest. You know, he what, 5'10"ish? He's probably right around 2. I don't even know if he was that big. Coming in from Alabama, maybe he's closer to 190. You know what I mean? But even still, man, so that was crazy. That was crazy. Like, even seeing it happen, I'm like, no. Then announced somebody, there's a fight on the field. Like, fight on the field? Man, the game over. This wasn't a Super Bowl. This wasn't a playoff, heartbreaking loss. This wasn't like a crazy, controversial call or play that swung the game. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing like that. So they was announcing the fight. I'm like, what in the hell? Who's fighting? Yeah, come to find out, this Brian Branch, man, that had something on his chest. He had to get it off on. I almost messed up, man. He had to get that off his chest, man, and took it out on Juju Smith's face, man. So we'll see what comes of that. Rennie in the bit, what she said? Said Mahomes forced him to shake his hand. Well, no, see, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, no, you're right. See, I guess that's what it was. I guess he was trying to refuse to shake. Was it Mahomes' hand or something like that? And, okay, so then did Juju come try to check him about it or something, and then it went left? But now that you say that, I think I do remember hearing that. Yeah, I guess he was refusing to shake somebody's hands or something like that. So, yeah, good call out. Good call out. Thank you. I was trying to remember. I was like, man, what was it? But that's the thing, though, really. Like, I'd have been super hyped and amped up, and we talking crazy. We going at each other. I hit him, they hit me, and like they dive at my leg, try to hurt me. I'm trying, you know what I mean? I done did all of that, but then after the game's over. Like, it's part of the game. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we supposed to want to hurt each other and play and hard and do all that, but man, when the game's over, it's like, hey, man, y'all did your thing, man. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Like, you let it go. It's just it's understood. It's part of the game. But yeah, man. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Let me see. Where we gonna go next? You know what? I'll tell y'all what. I'm gonna go here. I'm actually kind of going in backwards order. It's all good. San Francisco on the road at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay gets this done 30-19? 30-19. And you know what, man? You know what? I think I might have said something or put something up last week's show, but man, hey, I don't know how much more we need to see. How much longer? Man, it might be MVP, man. MVP Baker look like he on the way, man. They get this done. good victory against the San Francisco team traveling on the road. Now, San Francisco is decimated by injury, but that's nothing new, right? This is the same San Francisco team that went on the road against the Rams, right? Handle business. So they're still a very competent and quality opponent, right? But I think, they ran into the machine that is Baker Mayfield, man, and those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And also the injuries, I can't even give them much of a reprieve because of their injuries because Tampa Bay is also beat up. Tampa Bay, come on, man, let me tell you. Baker Mayfield threw touchdowns to Cam Johnson, right? Anybody know Cam Johnson? I don't know Cam Johnson off the top of my head. I ain't gonna lie. It's Cam with a K. I don't know Cam with a K Johnson. I can't tell you where he's from. He had 60 yards on the touchdown. And then Tez Johnson. Now, I know Tez Johnson. He was supposed to be a speedy receiver out of Oregon. Got to the combine and ran 4.6. Be that as it may, right? And I think because of that, I think he went undrafted. Was he an undrafted rookie? He was getting, not from myself, but in some circles, people had Tez Johnson as a top 40 prospect in some circles. Now, not me myself, but I think his combine performance, because he tested historically unathletic. And this is also a guy he's small. He's 5'8"-ish, 5'9". He was maybe what? I don't think he's 175 pounds, or I don't think he was 170 pounds coming in to the league. So he's an outlier in the wrong way for his height and weight and for his speed and athleticism. So be that as it may, he caught a touchdown in this one as well, 45 yards from Big Baker Mayfield. And so I can't feel bad, and I won't feel bad about the Niners, at least in this game and the injuries that they're dealing with, because Baker Mayfield is throwing to wide receiver 4 and 5, getting it done. And he's been getting it done like that for a few weeks now, or especially ever since Emeka Egbuka went down, and he's a rookie, right? Even though he's a rookie. So Baker's doing his thing. And then as far as San Francisco, there's been a lot of talk here, man, about Mac Jones maybe taking that job from Brock. All the talks or conversation around, look how easy it is. Anybody can do it. You can just step in, right? And to a certain extent, that did look to be the case. And you know what? To a certain extent, that is the case. Because, shout out to my dog, Chop. Chop, you owe me some money still to this day. We should have made shirts. We could have copyrighted the term before it was everywhere. My dog, Chop, told us that the Niners are a well-oiled machine. He started saying that a month before I heard it on ESPN or NFL Network. We could have had shirts. We should be spending that money right now, Chop. I'm not going to let go. But they are. They are. But here's the thing about it. They're not exclusive because nobody felt that way, or maybe everybody didn't feel that way at the time. I had these style of thoughts back at the time, and I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. But even since then, nobody holds that against Tom Brady because those Patriots teams were well-oiled machines as well. And when Tom Brady went out week 1, right, with the injury that cost him that season, what's that man's name? Matt, help me out. The backup from the Patriots that filled in for Tom Brady, and then he signed a free agent contract with the Chiefs. It's going to drive me crazy now. It's going to drive me crazy. I'm going to have to come back to it. So man, all right. No, I'm not going to look it up. It's all good. That guy, right? That guy won 10, 11 games in place of Tom. I think they won 11 games. You know what I'm saying? Now, crazy year in football at the time, somehow they won 11 games and didn't make the playoffs, which was crazy. And so that's the counter that folks say, well, they didn't even make the playoffs. Oh, yeah, well, there's been years when 7 wins can get you in the playoffs. Or 7 or 8, or 8 wins definitely got somebody in the playoffs. We've seen it with the Saints. We've seen it with the Seahawks, right? And all of that. So it happens. So, yeah, they won 11 games and were successful. That man left and got paid. But anyway, similar situation. Mac Jones, who was also a guy in drafted. Brock Purdy was picked as Mr. Irrelevant. He was also the guy in consideration at pick 3 when they end up going with Trey Lance. What's going on with my names, chat? RBT Fam, what's going on with my names? With Trey Lance ended up being the pick. Be that as it may, man. It looks like maybe this is the game that the real Mac is back. That's why I put that there. Is the real Mac back? All right. Like did he was playing outside himself maybe a little bit. So now is he returning back to normal? Right? The cream rises to the top. You know what I mean? We know that. But then everything else settles back down into where it belongs. And so, maybe Mac had been riding that high until he exhausted it. And now maybe he kind of returned back to some of the things that we saw from his time in New England. He does throw for a lot of yards in this one, but they were down and losing. 347 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions in this one. C-Mac still having he's still very vital to both sides of he's still a very vital contributor in both phases of the offense, running and passing. He had 50 rushing, 50 receiving in this one as well. But tough sledding for him. And Kendrick Bourne, man, has still been probably the brightest spot, one of the brighter spots for this 49ers offense this year. He's still balling. Another 5 catches for 142 yards in this one. And so he's definitely playing very, very well with his opportunity based on all the injuries that San Francisco's been dealing with. But yeah, no. So I want to see now. I think this definitively quiets the noise that maybe Mac Jones was going to supplant Brock Purdy. I think this performance definitely put that to bed, or at least if I don't even know if this was a conversation that was being had inside that Niners building, but at least in public perception and in the media, this is a thing that people were talking about. Like, is it cheaper to keep Mac? You know what I mean? Because you just paid Brock Purdy. What, he's getting 50, 55 now. He's getting that Tua money. But then you see Mac Jones come in and have the style of success that he had. Like, is there thoughts in the back of everybody's mind? Like, yeah, man, as beat up and injured as this roster is, as old as this roster is getting as well, how many more guys can we bring in here if we're not paying Brock 55 and we can ride this thing out with Mac? So that might have been something in the back of somebody's mind. But I don't think so with this performance. And now, not to say that Mac Jones still won't be valuable or viable for this team. I don't see a reason why they would let him out that building. Because if he's not going to start, he's obviously shown to be a very capable and compatible backup at the very least. And so, be that as it may, I do want to see what's next for this Niners team, though. That's what's going to be important for me. So what's next? Also, on the injury front, I'm not sure the timeline for Brock Purdy's return. So I don't know if he's in that return window, if he's in line to play this next week or not. I'll have to check on that. And then if he is, or if he isn't, I still want to see, how does Mac bounce back now from this coming down from such a big high with the impressive performance that he had in that big win against the Rams. And so a lot of things I want to see from this Niners team, man, to see what's going on. Because there for a short time, they look to be, we were only 4 or 5 games in, but they were turning heads now. And they were turning heads and looking like a team that was going to be a real force in that division. And not to say that that's all over, but like I said, with Mac Jones returning to earth and things kind of settling back down, I want to see just where that team goes, especially the deeper we get into this season, and especially with them still having all the injuries that they're still trying to work through. Let's see. Moving on. Cincinnati went on the road against Green Bay. Now, this was keyed up to be a blowout. I think on Sunday when I went over this game, I had just a lot to a little, 30-10. You know what I mean? Just something outlandish, something easily in hand for Green Bay, and that definitely wasn't the case. Now, Green Bay wins this game 27-18, but this game was never really out of hand. It wasn't as like the way the Chiefs-Lions game went, or even worse than that. I would have thought this Green Bay-Cincinnati game looked more similar to how my Steelers looked against the Browns, where it was just one side pretty much in firm control for the bulk of this game, and then the score a little more spread out. That's what I would have expected. But no, Joe Flacco making his cross-state debut, and he put on. And now y'all see, Mike Tomlin in the press conference throwing shots at the Browns GM Andrew Berry for trading Joe Flacco in our division to one of our mutual rivals, the Bengals. So Mike's been pissed off about it. And this game is a good example why. Joe Flacco, in week 1, I think he got traded and then he played Sunday. He was there for 3 days? 4 days? He attempts 45 passes. He's 29 for 45 All right. I don't know what's going on with my light, y'all. This happened last week, but I made sure I charged this light freshly before today's show. My light's going out. I need recommendations for podcast lighting. That's what y'all can do for me. But getting back on track, Joe Flacco, short arrival there in Cincinnati, 29 for 45, right? That's 65%, right? That's excellent, right? That's what you want to see. A starting caliber quarterback should sit somewhere around 65 to 66% completion percentage, right? That's the mark you want to be at if you've got a quality guy. He's right there 4 days into that building. Over 200 yards through 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he got Jamar Chase back cooking because Jake Browning wasn't even able to really get Jamar Chase the ball consistently, right? Jamar has 10 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown in this one. And that touchdown was a very impressive touchdown catch. Fought through a strong defensive pass interference and made a fantastic highlight style catch. T. Higgins also had a good day, 60. Now, not the day that Jamar Chase had, of course, right? 10 for 94, but still 5 for 60, still good production. And especially, this is week 1 with Joe Flacco getting here, and he hasn't been here a full week. So if you're the Bengals, you've got to feel optimistic, right? That Joe Flacco can maybe right the ship and keep things afloat until Joe Burrow gets back. Because Joe Burrow is expected to be eligible to return to this team for probably like the last month of the season, the last month or two of the season. I've heard as early as like that's still like those last 4 or 5 weeks. The last 4 or 5, maybe even 6 weeks, right? So from Thanksgiving on, it's fair game. So depending on where the Bengals are with Joe Flacco now at the helm, like if they're in striking distance of turning it on and turning it around, then yeah, Joe Flacco's coming back, and man, he's going to come back with a vengeance. Or they're already out of it, right? If this team, with the trajectory they were on with Jake Browning, this is like a 3-win team. This is a team that could have won 3-14, picking in the top upcoming draft. And if that's the case, then Joe Flacco probably doesn't even come back this year. But now if you get cool Joe Flacco, Joe Burrow and Joe Flacco, two cool Joes now. This is what we do in Cincinnati. But if Flacco can rekindle the magic that he did in Cleveland, this is what happened with Joe Flacco, 2 or 3 years ago now? Oh, my God. The parallels are hitting me all at once now. Joe Flacco got off his couch, was it 2 or 3 years ago, and went and filled in for the injury-plagued Browns, got hot, ran off 4 or 5 wins in like a 5-week stretch, elevated them to, or helped them reach the playoffs, right? Now, they got smacked in the playoffs against the Texans, right? But the fact that he played as well as he did, elevated that team, and this was when Deshaun Watson first got injured. So he didn't go in and replace Dylan Gabriel. Like right now, he's replacing Jake Browning. He went and replaced Deshaun Watson. Now, Deshaun Watson's time in Cleveland is probably closer to Jake Browning than it is Joe Burrow, but be that as it may, that's what happened. So he got there, played his ass off, led that team, helped lead that team with that defense, of course, to the playoffs. And then also, I believe he won Comeback Player of the Year and got Kevin Stefanski a Coach of the Year award as a result. Neither of those awards warranted, in my opinion. And that's what and it's showing now. It's bearing fruit now. But be that as it may, that's what happened. And so now this same team, Cleveland, they brought him back this year because after that season, right, they had a little bit of a conundrum because Deshaun Watson was due back, and you already paying him 2 arms and a leg. You can't let him go, guaranteed. And so they end up letting Joe Flacco get out that building. He goes to the Colts. Ruins Mike Tomlin's Sunday on one of those days, man. He comes in for an injured Anthony Richardson and wins against my Steelers. And then now he's back with the Browns. And then now this second Brown stint not as good as that first. And then now to Cincinnati, and he has a chance to mimic that same style of success that got him back into the league and off his couch at age 41 just 2-3 years ago. So now, yeah, I definitely understand why Mike Tomlin is more than a little pissed off at Andrew Berry and that Cleveland Browns front office. because this directly, this could have a direct effect making my Steelers road to the playoffs and road to the division championship makes it a little more difficult, man. And then speaking of, we play Joe Burrow, we play Joe Flacco in these Bengals tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football. And so, yeah, man, there's a lot to unpack there for us Steelers fans, but yet and still, I don't give a care about none of that for one. We better still go out there and smack them boys around like we're supposed to. But no, still, I definitely do now still, yeah, man, I can feel Coach Tomlin's angst about this whole ordeal and how it went down. So I get it. And matter of fact, let's stay real quick in the AFC North since we're here. Rams go on the road to Baltimore. I thought this one would be a little more one-sided as well. Now, this is a 2-score game, right? 17-3. But this wasn't the this wasn't the dominant performance that I really anticipated and wanted to see. There's few things that make me feel better than seeing the Ravens get smacked around on Sundays in the NFL or Mondays or Thursdays. Anytime the Ravens are getting smacked around, I'm here for it. So I thought that the Rams would come out here, especially after giving up a bad loss at home, controversial loss. We talked about it with the shortcomings of Sean McVay in that game, the shortcomings of Kyron Lacy. So now you go on the road against a very weak and very beatable, downtrodden. They be getting smacked by any and everyone who plays them. This is the team you go to. This was your get back game. Los Angeles, you got to go to Baltimore to get your get back. And instead, you win, but you don't get back. Y'all don't feel better about that loss to the Niners. And not to say that one washes away the other, but you still want to take that out on somebody. 17-3 in this game doesn't give you that feeling. All right, it doesn't give you that, but you did, of course, find that's the biggest thing. I still do appreciate handing the Ravens an L. So I'll let y'all off the hook just a little bit. I believe we talked about this. Amory, don't start that. Here we go. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Marine, you cheer for about 7 teams. All right? You cheer for about 7 teams, and one of them is the Ravens. That's inexcusable. All right? It's inexcusable. You gotta fix that. That's a problem. And then I was gonna say something about this Tennessee and Vegas game, but we talked about that already a little bit. Well, I think the firing of head coach, is it Bill? It's not Bill. Bill is his dad. Is it Bryce Callahan? I don't know. The head coach of the Titans got fired after 6 weeks. Yeah, I know we talked about this. I'm gonna move on. I know we talked about that. Let's see, where are we going? Seattle on the road at Jacksonville. Seattle wins this game 20-12. 1 week after Jacksonville's big win at home against the Chiefs. They don't build on that momentum, and they let a West Coast team come all the way to sunny South Florida and take one, and they build it. And the question I have for this one as well, man, is Jackson Smith and Jigba. Is he elite? Is he tier 1? Is it time for your dog, Willie Jack? Is it time for your dog to open the books back up, all right, and give us some fresh rankings, man, fresh tier 1 rankings? If some of y'all might be new here, you may not know what I'm talking about. I got my own style and flavor of how I rank things about the game, man, whether it be like player positionally, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So my own personal thoughts or rankings of where I hold players is a little unorthodox from like how others may. You know what I mean? So for me, like a tier 1 receiver, let's say just for example's sake, I'm gonna just help fill y'all in real quick. In my mind, there may be only 3 tier 1 truly elite receivers in football in a specific time or period or season or whatever the case, right? So or it could, or that number may fluctuate just depending, or quarterbacks. There may be only, and I think a lot of people may feel this way about the quarterback, but even that may be changed. Say there's only 4 truly elite guys, right? And then that next group is still damn good, but they still have the other guys above them have separated themselves. And so that's the easier example for quarterback. Patty Cakes, Lamar, Big Josh, and Joe Burrow, they've they've pretty much separated themselves from the rest of the pack as far as other guys at the position. They're still damn good quality guys at the position, but those four have separated themselves. They're tier one. They're truly elite, right? Jaden Daniels, Matt Stafford, Justin Herbert, etc., etc., etc. These guys are great. They're fantastic. 30 of 32 teams, 28 of 32 teams will probably take any number of these other guys as a starter on their team, right? In the right circumstance. But they still aren't to the level of the four. That's tier one. That's elite. Is it time for me? Is it time for us to start giving Jackson Smith-Njigba that style of respect? Is he elevating himself into that room? At the very least, he's elevating himself into that conversation, because that room is also, it's got some moving around. You know what it is time for? Because the running backs also are due for a reset, right? And we've seen some movement now from the receivers for these last couple years, right? Like Tyreek Hill is a guy that was in that group for me maybe 3 years ago, 3 years ago, right? But injured this year, and I don't think it's necessarily the fault of Tyreek, right? But I can only tell you what the weather is today, right? And so and then also, so maybe he's moving around. Nico Collins, a guy that jump in there, y'all try to lump him in there, maybe a little prematurely, and then he gets injured as well, and now he's back, but he was in that conversation. AJ Brown is a guy, like right now today, if you ask me who's a tier one elite guys, that I still feel like there's a line of delineation between them and the next batch of guys. For me, that's Justin Jefferson, still the best receiver in football for my money. Jamar Chase, AJ Brown. I'm still putting AJ Brown there because I think AJ Brown's production, right? He's a victim of his circumstance. AJ Brown's tier one. He's one of the last of a true dying breed. He's a true traditional outside X receiver. Put my toe on the line, dare you to get in my chest and do something with me. You know what I mean? Like there's Jamar. That's not what Jamar Chase is. That's not what Justin Jefferson is. That's not what Tyreek Hill is. That's not what Nico Collins is. You know what I mean? Like, and these guys are great. Justin Jefferson is my favorite receiver in football. Right? So I'm not knocking none of them. And not to say that they can't perform in that role, but that's not what they're asked to do. And their offense is catered to them in ways that AJ Brown's doesn't. So that's why I still have AJ Brown in my mind in that of that ilk. I still hold him in that regard, right? Jackson Smith-Njigba is giving us something to talk about. The boy's been flat out dominant. He's been on a tear all season. I'm gonna give y'all some. I think he had another day. He had another impressive day in this one as well. What'd he do? Come on, man. 8 for $162 and a touchdown. And that touchdown, I think, against Jacksonville, who traded Greg Newsome from Cleveland to Jacksonville, traded from Cleveland to Jacksonville earlier this week. I think right out the gate, right, pretty soon into this game, Jackson Smith-Njigba and Sam Darnold take him up top. They take Greg Newsome to the upper room. And 70-ish or 80-ish yards later, that's a tub. And so, but Jackson Smith-Njigba has been giving anybody who's came across him this season the blues. I mean, flat out. And so, he's really putting himself in that talk. And then, I can't wait to see how the rest of his season plays out. Because he's a fantastic route runner, for one. He's got excellent hands. He had great hands coming out of Ohio State. And honestly, between him and Jordan Addison, they were my 1-2 receivers when they were coming out of that year's draft. I'd have to go check. They were definitely 1-2, JSN and Jordan Addison. Right now, I can't remember which one I had on top of which. But they were right there in the mix for my wide receiver 1 in their draft. And JSN, man, is really coming into his own. And this is the thing as well. State really is like they putting it on paper like, man, y'all just got to quit calling LSU wide receiver U. Like, yeah, they've got the fun names. They've got the sexier names, right? You know what I mean? Just like name value, like Odell Beckham, that still holds weight, man. When you talk about LSU as wide receiver U, especially for like this day and age, you're talking about Odell. Like that's the progenitor of our generation's LSU being wide receiver U, right? Because before that they had Dwayne Bowe, they've had guys, but Odell and Jarvis teammates, they came in the league together, and we forget Jarvis Landry was a bucket. You know what I mean? Jarvis Landry was a bucket, man, and for about a span of a good 4 or 5 years, he was a volume monster, but he was a very capable, tough, shallow and intermediate, get the ball in his hands and let him go type of guy. Anywho, but no, these Ohio State guys are clowning, man. JSN. We seeing what Emeka Egbuka is doing with Baker Mayfield, with Big Baker Mayfield down there in Tampa. Now he's injured. I'm not sure the prognosis on his injury. Hopefully it's nothing that's going to cause him to miss enough time, because he's been playing out of his mind as well, playing way better than the player. I didn't imagine him playing at this level when I was watching his film coming into this year. Honestly, I don't want to say it's going to sound a lot harsher than I mean it to when I say this, but I wasn't impressed because I didn't see this level of explosiveness. He looks like a true wide receiver one. I didn't think I saw that in his wheelhouse watching him at Ohio State. I thought he was going to be a top tier, top of the line wide receiver two. You know what I mean? Maybe floor of a Jacoby Myers, high side of a T. Higgins, a guy like this, right? Who in spots can give you that wide receiver one style production, but maybe isn't suited to the role day in and day out. No, he's looking like a wide receiver one right now with Big Baker Mayfield, right? And then of course the other guys, man, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, they came in and played damn well right out the box. Garrett Wilson was the offensive rookie of the year. So, right out the box, these guys played well and found success as well. And it's scary Terry McLaurin, right? So, Ohio State, man, that Ohio State and LSU wide receiver U conversation is it's a lot closer and it deserves a lot more. I think Ohio State deserves a lot more consideration than probably they get, because they just aren't the fun, sexy pick that LSU is. And especially LSU has to slow down now. I'd be remiss, man, if I didn't mention Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., as well, the two young guys. Now, Malik Neighbors being injured this year, unfortunately, out for the year with an ACL right before Jackson Dot gets in and start cooking, which is also tragic. But him and Brian Thomas Jr. down there in Jacksonville, they still putting on for the cause as well, man. So, yeah, I'm at to circle back to that. Y'all don't have no fear. We're going to get into that. I always have fun with those rankings as well. It always gives a lot of conversation in the chat. So that's something that we'll come back to, man, when the time is right. See, moving on. Dallas on the road at Carolina. Rico's revenge. Rico Dowdle told them boys, he said, hey, look, y'all better buckle up, man. Y'all better buckle up, because he has something on his mind. Let us not forget, Rico Dowdle, I can't tell you where Rico Dowdle came from. I don't believe he drafted, but I do believe he was definitely like a late round guy, came up in the back of that Cowboys running back room and kind of bid his time. And then when he got his opportunity, he ran with it. He performed well enough that I thought that they were going to. Honestly, and when they let Rico Dowdle go in free agency, he signs with the Panthers. But when they let him go, the price tag that he signed with the Panthers, it wasn't pricey. I think he signed with the Panthers for, I was going to say $3 million, but it might have been a little more than that. Let's say no more than $5 million, right? And now we're talking relatively. It's few things I probably wouldn't do $5 million right now, I tell you, right? So I'm not sitting there talking like that's not a lot of money. It is. But I'm talking text of what we're talking about, an NFL player and a guy at the top position. Like, it was a very amenable contract. So when Dallas let him go with their answer in that room, it's not like they had nobody sitting there. They went and got Javonte Williams, right? But he's coming off an injury. They didn't know what you was going to get. They drafted Alfred Blue out of Texas. You draft him in the 5th or 6th round. Or he was a later round draft pick. You don't expect him to come in day one and be the guy. So they let Rico Dowdle go without any clear identity going forward at the position. So they really just cast him aside. I can see how, if I'm Rico Dowdle, I may also feel a face. Like, bro, y'all just tossed me aside. Like, imagine somebody throwing away shoes who don't have other shoes to put on. They still got to go outside. They done threw these shoes away. They ain't got another pair of shoes in the house, but they still threw these shoes out. That's Rico Dowdle. That's crazy. And so, of course, to injuries in Carolina to Chris Hubbard and the running back they drafted out of what? Trey Benson. No. Trey Benson went to Florida State. He's injured for Arizona. He's the running back in Texas. He was the next running back after Bijan Robinson, if I remember right. Anyway, he missed his first 2 years with injury. He was injured when he came into the league. He got a delayed start. He started on IR, etc. Long story short, a lot of things had to happen for Rico Dowdle to get on the field. And he was waiting for his moment, and he executed when Dallas came to his house. He told them boys to buckle up. They didn't listen, and he was the star of this game. 30 for 183 yards, another 56 yards receiving, and a receiving touchdown. Come on, man. Against a team that cast you away like old shoes, I just talked about it. The man went for over 230 yards and a touchdown, and he was the star of this team. He's the guy. He was the tip of the Carolina Panthers spear, right? He was the guy. He didn't ride the train, right? He wasn't just on the team and then the team went out and got a win against Dallas. Like, nah. He went out there and, you know what I'm saying, he's the guy that threw those blows. He's the guy that put Dallas down, that helped put Dallas. And so that's big, man. That's big. Like I said, him along with Bijan Robinson, man, he's another one of those studs, man. It was a few studs this week, man, in the studs and duds category. Bijan Robinson, Rico Dowdle, definitively studs in this one. Bryce Young throws for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. I believe that interception was off the hands of Ted McMillan. Their nice young rookie receiver. He's been playing pretty solid this year. He does have 2 touchdowns on 3 catches in this game as well, but did have the costly mistake. On the other side, Dak Prescott is playing his ass off, man. Dak Prescott is balling, and thanks in no part to George Pickens. Man, I tell y'all what, George Pickens, man, he's going to be the one that got away. He's this generation's one that got away from me, man. Like, I really hated my Steelers losing Le'Veon when that happened. We really had something special there, man. It really bums me out that we didn't capitalize on that. You know what I mean? We really didn't capitalize on all that offensive firepower we had, man. The Triple B era, Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. I mean, special time to be a Steelers fan. It really hurt me, man. I was really sad to see Le'Veon leave and go. And then George Pickens, not quite to that extent, because with this one, I understand it a little more. There was stuff going on behind the scenes, attitude and immaturity. You know, so that's understandable. The stuff with Le'Veon, just arguing over money, that's a bad way to split. Anyway, GP balling 9 for $168 and another touchdown. Now look, I've had conversations over these last few years with others. I think my dog Chop went on, man, about George Pickens, and this is before this trade to Dallas, and he's exploding before the rest of y'all's eyes. I was saying this in his time with my Steelers, in the front of the ball, his production was never a function of his inability to perform. We just couldn't consistently get him the ball. Didn't have nobody back there that could do it. I was telling my dog Chop and anybody who listened in, like, nah, George Pickens is the one. I like coming into the year he came into the draft out of Georgia, he was injured. In the little bit of film I had, one of my notes in that draft, because I think, was that the same draft as Jackson Smith-Njigba and Jordan Addison? Was that same? That may have been that draft. But one of the things that I always stood out that I still remember, because we drafted George Pickens as well, but in my notes I had, he's the only true X in the class. Like, he was the only guy, like, he's a true traditional, like, X style of receiver. Like, I remember writing about him. Some of the best hands and acrobatic body control and ball skills that I've ever seen, and that's bearing fruit. So this is a special talent. And he's making himself a lot of money. We let him go. We bring in DK Metcalf. We give DK Metcalf the $30 million that we wanted to give to George Pickens, but we just couldn't trust him enough to do it. So we get him out of there. We give it to DK. It's working out because DK and A-Rod, man, week after week, that connection is strengthening. And he's honestly, he's playing well. I think DK Metcalf's playing some of the best ball we've seen him play in these 6 weeks with my Steelers, especially over this last month. Be that as it may, George Pickens is a dog, man. George Pickens is a dog. And if you're Dallas, well, now I can't even say that because We just seen Dallas let go of Michael Parsons, man, a top young talent at the position, a guy that you can't let this guy out your building. They let him go. And so I'm curious to see what they do with GP. Yesterday's price is not today's price. When they first made that move, maybe they should have entertained a quick little 2-year get us by deal to bank on the upside. I mean, maybe in hindsight, man, that's something that they should have thought about. Long story short, George Pickens got upwards of $30 million waiting for him at the end of this season, regardless of what happens with the Cowboys. And so I don't know if it'll be the Cowboys or somebody else, but there's 31 that need a guy with that type of ability, man. He's a real standout guy at the position for his skill set and what he offers, man. So I still am happy to see him find the success that he's having, man, and really show everybody's getting to see the type of talent and ability that we were able to see in Pittsburgh, man. So happy for him. Now, moving on, man. I have to talk about the guys. You feel me? You know I got to talk about Big Nation because we in the building, man. My Steelers host the Cleveland Brownies, and we do what we came to do. Down, you know what I'm saying? Smack them boys around a little bit like we was supposed to do. We win this game 23-9, and then and I've kind of been mentioning this, but week after week, I'm seeing more and more comfortability in my offense with Aaron Rodgers, his connection with DK Metcalf, his connection with guys like Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington, got 6'8", 320 pounds. He can be a starting left tackle right now for about 6 teams in the league. We play him at tight end, and now we're using him like a traditional tight end as well. He's the guy that got the party started. First play of the game, hard play action to Darnell Washington, who catches it, and the big man rumbles for about 35, 40 yards right out the gate. You know what I'm saying? And he had another big catch in this one as well. And so really like what I'm seeing from my Steelers. My defense, we were finally fully healthy for the first time, everybody was there for the first time since week 1. And then we had guys go down week 1, so we still hadn't got to play a full game with everybody available. This was that first game, and we dominated. Now, it was against a soft target offensively, being the Browns, but still, we dominated. And so the thing about playing a team that you should dominate, you need to dominate them. Because if you don't, let's say ergo, like the Rams and Ravens. Like, as if I'm the Rams, I feel like, man, we didn't smack them, but like we didn't stomp them boys like we should have, man. Like why is this game even in a conversation? I don't feel like that. I don't feel that way in this game against the Browns. It started just a little tight, but then once we really took a firm hand in this one, we didn't look back and we dominated. A-Rod throws for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in this one. No interceptions. DK has another 95 yards and a touchdown in this one. Impressive pass and catch up the right sideline on that touchdown to DK. Darnell Washington, 3 big catches for 60 yards. The defense was everywhere. 6 sacks. Nick Herbig announcing himself to the league. Man, Nick Herbig is a $30 million pass rusher, and he's pass rusher 3 on my team. And somebody can't wait for the opportunity to give Nick Herbig $30 million to rush the passer full time. But be that as it may, man, I got him in Pittsburgh. I'm curious to see what we do with his contract, man. Guys are trying to trade Alex Highsmith to make room for Nick Herbig. I don't want to see that happen as a Steelers fan. I want all 3 of them. Call me greedy. Call me what you want to. I want all 3 of them. Pay all of them. Because right now, Alex Highsmith is making like $17 million a year. Now, also keep it in relation, chump change for the position, right? Nick Herbig is worth more than that today, right? So if Nick Herbig was a free agent today, he get more than that offered to him tomorrow if he was able to. So I don't want to see him going to work. He had 2 sacks. And Jalen Ramsey, JR5. Jalen Ramsey, who was thought to miss this game and possibly miss a couple games with the hamstring injury suffered during that Jets game. He not only plays in this game, he not only starts in this game because he was slated to miss it, but then he has a fantastic game. It has one of the best games of his career, and I say that because he had 2 sacks in this game. His first multi-sack game of his career. And then I think he talked about it post-game. He's like, man, I played in a game with TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, the 2 premier pass rushers of their generation, right? He sacked them, both of them in this game. He had two sacks. Myles Garrett didn't get a sack, and then I think TJ Watt split a sack with Highsmith. And so, fantastic game from Ramsey. Ramsey, quiet as kept. Ramsey's on his way to Ramsey's putting together a defensive player of the year style of resume, man, at least in my mind. Now, call me a homer, call me what you want. Ramsey's a guy that I think here, once we started getting to the real crunch time, man, when we start getting to the fourth quarter of the season, at the pace he's going, with the impact of defense, the way he's affecting the game, the big hit to end the game in New York, right? Big interception. He had 2 sacks in this one. He's forced a fumble. He picked up a fumble and ran one for a touchdown and got called back, in a game as well. So he's everywhere. He's playing 3 or 4 positions. He's making plays at positions we're asking him to play. This is a DPOY style of year loading for Jalen Ramsey, man, assuming he keeps up this same pace and that he stays healthy, which hopefully I hope he's able to do so. On the other side, Dillon Gabriel, and this is the fault of Kevin Stefanski. This is terrible coaching. There's no reason Dillon Gabriel should have thrown or attempted 52 passes in this game. And he didn't throw any touchdowns or interceptions, but that's only because my Steelers dropped 4 interceptions in this game. So this could have been an all-time horrific performance for Dillon Gabriel in the second week of his young starting career. And thankfully it wasn't, but no fault of his own. But that's just terrible coaching. Quinshot Judkins, who's a stud, he's been the highlight of your offense since he's been acclimated and been the lead back. He only has 13 carries in this one. Now, it was tough sledding. It was tough sledding for him as well, for sure. But if we're going to lose this game, we do ourselves more of a service if we ease some of the burden that we put on Dillon Gabriel, asking him to pass 52 times. He was sacked 6. I think we hit him or knocked him down another 15 or 16 times. And he had 3 at least, but maybe even 4 dropped interceptions. Like, there's no reason he should have been subjected to all of that. And that's on Kevin Stefanski for not realizing or taking the opportunity to add more balance to that offense, man, and give Dillon Gabriel a little reprieve, because he was out there running for his life unsuccessfully and then taking a beating. And so, but in other news, Steelers got it done, so it is what it is. Let me see what else we got. Oh, here we go. The Chargers on the road against Miami. This was a tough game. Miami ends up losing a close one at home, 29-27. Biggest news coming out of this game is the post-game comments. Tua, tag your mama, who also, let me not glaze over this fact. Let me make sure I find it. It was 3, I believe. Oh yeah, 3 interceptions in this game from Tua Tagovailoa. Now, honestly, in fairness, right, to give proper context, I think one of them was off a tip, possibly 2 of them. I'm trying to remember. 1 or 2 of those, the result of pass off somebody's hands or deflected or some style and then intercepted. So, maybe we'll give him some consideration there. And then of course another interception just on himself. But Tua is a guy who's had bouts, or he's had stretches in which he turns the ball over, and a lot of his interceptions happen because he's limited in both his height to see over the line and his arm strength to get the ball downfield. So he's got to trust the timing route. He's got to let a ball go way prematurely to a spot to account for the speed that a guy like Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle has, that he's got to beat them there with the ball, because he can't sit and maybe let it develop and then rip it like maybe a guy like a Justin Herbert could do, right? Where you don't have to throw into what looks like no man's land because the route ended up breaking a different way or whatever. He's got to, he has interceptions that happen like that. Anyway, that said, in the post-game press conference, instead of talking about when they were talking about the loss and I'm sure his performance when it came up, he took this time to call out the rest of his teammates for, and even the things that he's complaining about, they're not bad things to call out people about. But this is the thing about it though. You gotta have the cachet to do that. Everybody can't point the finger. Everybody can't call guys out to it. You gotta be a guy. You gotta be a guy that's respected. Like, guys have to respect you enough or see you in that light, respect you in that role as a true leader. Because and people can say they want to acknowledge somebody as a leader, you are acknowledging or conceding to them some in some form of fashion, some style of authority, right? And I say that not in a way that anybody's less of a man or whatever. That's not what it is. But as the captain of a team, like when Tom Brady tells you to sit down, shut up, and line up, you sit down, you shut up, and you line up. Not because you're scared of Tom Brady, but you respect him as the leader. And so you imbue him that style of authority that, like, hey, no, man, that's the captain, man. I got to get on point. It's time to make a play. Like, Tua, you ain't got that, big dog. You know what I'm saying? Because there's way too many times in which you've been the guy that maybe a lot of the guys on this team feel like have been the guy that's holding them back more so than you've been the guy that carried them to a win. And so when that's the case, you don't get that cachet that a Tom Brady has, that a Peyton Manning has, that a Phillip Rivers had. You know what I mean? And I'm talking guys. You know what I mean? But that a Patty Mahomes has, a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, a Joe Burrow, a Jaden Daniels even already in his young career, Matt Stafford, a Justin Herbert. You see what I'm saying? You did a Baker Mayfield, a Jared Goff. Guys that have the respect, they have that respect. They carry that cachet with their teammates, with the people in that building, with the coaching staff. Like, those are the guys that are in position to call out guys if deemed necessary. And also the thing about these guys, most times, guys like that don't have to call you out in public. And this also points to Tua's lack of ability in this area, because the things he's complaining about, I guarantee he's tried to get in guys' faces about this behind the scenes, and guys didn't care. Guys didn't want to hear it because you're not one of the ones, Tua. You not that guy. Like, no, get out of my face, dog. You threw 3 interceptions today, man. Get out of my face. Get out of here, man. Get out of my face, Tua. I don't want to hear that stuff right now, bro. Get out of here, man. You threw 2 interceptions 3 times today, bro. Gone somewhere, man. You not that guy. And so, in this instance, and he's a guy because when you're the quarterback naturally is in a position of authority for a team because he's an extension of the coach, right? He should be, right? And so, Tua doesn't have that respect, doesn't have that authority from his team, neither does his head coach. And then by that, just like I said, he is an extension of that head coach. Weak head coach and a weak quarterback, man, that's not a team that's going anywhere. And the Dolphins have both, right? And so Tua, fed up with his own lack of authority or lack of acknowledgement from his peers and teammates, guys that by his rank or position with the team as the quarterback, he guarantee he feels away that he's the guy, that he can't rally the guys. He can't lead his troops. He's just, you know what I mean? And so he calls these guys out in the media. Like, that's the actions of a desperate man. He doesn't know, he hasn't found a way to successfully get through to his teammates or get through to just the guys that be heard, to have them take creed or acknowledge the things that he says to try to pull the team back together or to get the team back on what he thinks is the right track. He's not getting that. And so this is the ranting of a guy in the media who shot his shot. This is a desperation. It was a Hail Mary. Guys aren't even taking anything serious. Guys are either not showing up or they're showing up late. The team only, players only meetings. Like, guys aren't taking anything. You know, he's doing all this complaining in the media because those complaints to the guys' faces or behind doors, or when he's trying to call a meeting so that he can have this style of talk with the players, the guys that he wants to talk to, they don't even show up to the meetings anyway. And so Tua's in a rock and hard place, man. That's why, just like my dog Day One Game Jarrell, we were talking about the Dolphins, man. It's going to be some pieces up for sale sooner rather than later. Mike McDaniels is also he's not safe. That's what I was trying to say. So I think any and everyone from Mike McDaniels on down to it. I don't see. I'm thinking about that roster. Outside A-Chain, because he's an explosive young back. He's still on a rookie deal. Jalen Waddle is a young guy. He's only 26, 27. You already paid him. I think he just got paid last year, so he's still pretty affordable. Maybe you hold on to those two guys. Tyreek is 31. He's injured, and he's been a malcontent, right? This is probably his last ride, right? It was his last ride. He's the guy that's probably going to get traded, maybe to my Steelers, if he didn't get hurt. But be that as it may, he was probably already going to be gone by trade deadline anyway. And if not by trade deadlines, no, I think he was definitely going by trade deadline. But if not, then definitively by end of season. I can't imagine he was going to be there in 2026, right? Mike McDaniels, he's out of there. Tua, looks like on that contract, but I would imagine as soon as they can move off of it, they will move off of it, right? So I don't think he was safe. And then I'm thinking like the rest of that team, man. There's not a lot of pieces there. There's really not. That offensive line isn't special. You know what I mean? It's not. That defense has more problems than answers. They bring back They bring back Minkah Fitzpatrick in a trade preseason from my Steelers, and he's a player. Like Minkah Fitzpatrick is a stud. He was one of my favorite Steelers, man, and he's another guy like George Pickens. I still would love to still have him in black and gold. But anyway, you know what? He's approaching 30. I think he's 28, 29. And then also, I think they reworked his deal when they made the move. But I don't know if he's necessarily a cornerstone piece moving forward if you tear this thing down. And so, there's just the writing's on the wall. It looks like for me that the Dolphins are, if they have it, they're on the verge of a full blown, all out public mutiny. I like that. That team may publicly mutiny against Tua. Or Tua just already outed that they've already stopped listening to him himself. But and then also with Mike McDaniels, man, like I like these things this thing's gonna get a lot worse before it gets a lot better the way it looks. And so, very precarious situation down there in Miami. Very precarious situation. And then you know what? I'll give us one more. Arizona on the road at Indy. Jacoby Brissett stepping in and playing pretty well, honestly, considering for Kyler Murray, who was out with injury. They go and play against the Colts. The Colts are rolling. Colts get this done, 31-27. They do drop a game that they probably should have won last week against the Rams for a lot of reasons. A.D. Mitchell away a touchdown. A.D. Mitchell taking away a touchdown from Jonathan Taylor on a penalty on a hold call as well. And so a game that they probably could have and should have won last week. They come out this week and they have a tough game against a Cardinals team that maybe on paper shouldn't have been as much of a challenge to them as they were. But again, Jacoby Brissett played well. And when it's all said and done, Indianapolis does get away with this win. Now, interesting in this one, like I think I mentioned fireworks this week before, during, and after the ball game. Well, the Chiefs and Brian Branch being the fireworks after. This Colts offense or team is the fireworks before. 2 players go to get knocked out of the game before the game starts for the Colts. Now, the most costly one, Javarius Ward, starting cornerback for the Colts, he gets friendly fire. He gets ran into or hit and knocked down by a tight end, a backup tight end as well. Second, third, a guy that's not safe. A guy that can't afford to knock out starters before a game, I tell you that. I don't even know. I can't think of his name right now. But friendly fire, they don't see each other. They're both doing some style of warm-ups. Tight end comes and clears out Javarius Ward, and he's concussed. Like, he was knocked out. Like, I think they say he actually lost consciousness, had to be brought back, sat up. And I seen some of the clips of it, and he was still just sitting there, just out of it. Else with a concussion, he misses this game. Then also, Anthony Richardson, your backup quarterback. Now he has been deposed, right? He did lose his starting job. Daniel Jones was playing fantastic in his stead. But still, you don't want to go into a game 30 minutes before kickoff and lose your backup, because he still is the backup. Up with the stretch bands, the large plyometric stretch rubber bands for whatever. Those things, the different colored ones, they have different levels of tension. Some of those can get pretty stiff tension, especially if he's got one fully extended with a foot. He's doing probably toe presses, right? Holding the band fully extended, and he's doing toe presses, right? Probably working a calf or warming up a calf or a hamstring or a quad, just whatever. Band slips, or at least the story that I've seen, band slips, smacks him in the face, fractures his orbital bone in his face. My God. All this happens with in the 60 minutes league ball game. You're down a starter and your backup quarterback. This was a terrible precursor to start this game if you're the Colts. They end up still holding on and winning this game for sure. Jonathan Taylor is having a fantastic year. Really back to the guy that he was when he first got to this league. Jonathan Taylor, we forget. He came into this league and set it on fire. I think he had 18 yards. No, not his rookie year. Don't let me talk too fast. He definitely had a very productive rookie season. Then his year, I think he led the league in rushing for like 1,800 yards. And I think going into that third year, if I remember right, with my dog Chop on my old show, I think I had predicted Jonathan 1,000 yard back his third year because he was the way he was on the trajectory he was. Got a little injured, missed some time. That offense with the drafting of Anthony Richardson, and then that offense for whatever reason, that team deciding, that front office deciding to just put to operate that team or have Anthony Richardson be the forefront of that offense. A guy that had 20 career starts as a quarterback dating back to high school, some style of limited exposure that way. Even his time at Florida, I think he had 8 games played or 8 starts. Anywho, but now Jonathan Taylor with Daniel Jones, that quarterback position solidified. You're getting comfortable and competent play, consistent play there. It's really allowed him to get back to the guy he was. He has another 120 yards in this game, another touchdown. Tyler Warren, the rookie tight end, do-it-all tight end out of Penn State. He had another fantastic day, 60 yards, another touchdown in this game as well. And then Daniel Jones, who says of reviving his own career. He's one of these guys, him and Sam Darnold, looking to be the next Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith, right? Reviving what looked to be a failed career. He has 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. Also ran for a touchdown. He did throw an interception, but he's still playing as well, and they get this done. So kudos to those Colts, man. Colts are playing good football. And then lastly, certainly not least, before we get out of here for the night, do have to preview Thursday night's football game. My Steelers are heading up the road to Cincinnati to take on them weak Bengals, them weak Bungles. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to call them. But Joe Cool Flacco, man, making his second start at home against my Steelers. And so this one, it always has me a little nervous, right? Because these division games, especially in this division, the records don't mean anything when we play each other. And especially with these Bengals, especially with Joe Flacco being the wild card there as well, you can tell Mike Tomlin he's concerned about it, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? Rightfully so. But I definitely expect my Steelers to go get this done. I've increased the score on this prediction twice. I think it started, like 27-28 to 13, and you know what I mean? That sort of thing. I bumped it to 16, and now I'm at 27-20. 27-20, my Steelers getting this done on a short week after another divisional game against the Browns. Short week on the road in Cincinnati now. I still expect us to get this done. I like for us to carry forward this momentum that we're building, keep separating ourselves and from some style of miracle run from the Ravens, some style of miracle run by these Bengals. We need to stack these wins while we can, for sure. And also, while we're hot, we've got our own momentum, so we really need to capitalize and build on this going forward, so that we can really turn up and separate ourselves in this division, man, and put ourselves in position for success how these playoffs come around. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Cannot wait to watch every snap of that tomorrow night, as you know. But other than that, that's it. That's all. We came, we saw, we conquered. Week 6 is in the books. Man, this was a very entertaining week of football, man. My Steelers won. So anytime my Steelers won right out the gate, it's a good day for me. You feel me? But then also, man, I still want to see good ball. There's a lot of good games. A lot of intriguing storylines from this week's games as well. Some upsets, right? Who really thought Carolina was going to outduel the Cowboys? Who imagined that the Falcons were going to dominate the Bills, right? Who imagined that Brian Branch would start throwing punches and Juju Smith after the Chiefs handled the Lions? So it was a lot of good football this week, man. I definitely enjoyed my Sunday, especially when I get to have a victory Wednesday like this on the next go-around. Now, y'all know what time it is, man. Say the same thing every week. So feel free to say it with me at home. It's time for that Real Member Roll Call. Real quick, man, in the door. Rennie was in the building as well. I appreciate you as always. My dog Keandre made it, man. Captain of the ship. Remind me to keep them comments flowing. Appreciate that as well. Mom Deuce in the building. Shout out to Big Nation family. We in the building. Day one gang Jarrell was in this thing as well. And then, man, come on, man. Y'all know what's going on with the rest of y'all, man. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. Damn. Here we go. If I forgot to say your name, charge it to my head and don't charge it to my heart. You know, I'm thinking about you, big dog. I appreciate all the love support as always, man. Really enjoy getting on here. Just get on here cooling, talk about, man. Get on here, get to run my mouth, have fun, chop it with y'all in the chat, man, and talk about football, man. I really enjoy to do it. Enjoy y'all coming through, hanging out, and hollering at your dog in that chat, man. Don't forget to tap in with the three amigos. Like, share, subscribe. Holla at big cousin, man. Tell a friend as well. Tell your friend, and then have that friend bring one more with you when y'all come back, man. We will be back in the building Sunday morning, 10 a.m. The Sunday Fun Day Football morning preview game show, man. So we get in here Sunday mornings before kickoff. It should be 10 o'clock. We'll go through that. This upcoming week's gamut of games. We'll probably recap this Thursday night game against my Steelers. We'll find a way to have fun and have a good conversation, have a good time doing what we do. And until then, Sunday, 10 a.m. Y'all have safe. Enjoy yourself for the rest of the night. Peace.